How you guys go? Ah! How you guys going, and welcome back to the channel. We're finishing up on this roof today. We got Brad over there. So Brad's finishing up some snow stop, and I'm going to be finishing some exhaust venting. So figured I could show you guys how that goes. So follow along for more. So these are all exhaust vents. These two are intake vents for a heat pump. This one's an out vent for a bathroom fan. I believe this one is for heat pump as well. And then we're going to be doing one more over there. So this is what one of those vents looks like when it's completed. And I'm going to show you guys how to get to that point. So here we go. Okay, so to start, first things first, I like to put my vents as high up as possible, but I don't want it to bump into the ridge cap. So the way we find that out is you take whatever size your ridge cap is, you just take two squares and you go till they meet in the center. So that should be us right about there. So our ridge cap is 7 inches. I'm just gonna do a 7-inch mark down there. So I know that that's where my ridge cap is gonna go. And then from that mark, I'll just put a square line across, just like so, because that's gonna be the furthest back point of my vent. So this is one of the vents. So now what I need is I need the measurement from here back. So that looks like 4.5 roughly. And then I need the measurement from the back of the pipe to the back of the vent. So that looks like 6 inches. So for that, I'm gonna put 4.5 on the line here. So that's where the back tail of the vent is gonna go. And then I'm gonna mark 6 inches down here. That 6 inch is gonna be the back of the hole for the pipe. So just put a square line across there. Then I find center on my pan. So for these ones it's 5 5/8. So that's center there. And then I take the size of the vent. So this one is a 6-inch vent. So I'll go 6 1/8 down from that line we just made up there. And then I'll do the same 5 5/8 here. And intersect these two marks. Then we find center of it, which should be 3 1/16. So 3 1/16. That's center. Now let me just grab this thing. Where is it? Hey. So now I use this. It's just a compass, and I set it to 3 1/16. I usually go a little bit bigger just because it makes it easier to get the vent to go in. So we are at 3 1/16 there. Tighten that up. So you put it on that center line. And you can just mark a circle. So that circle is now gonna be the hole for the bottom of this vent to go through. So that's where this is gonna go through. And yeah, so we can cut that hole out now. So I'm just gonna use a big old drill bit. Now I'm gonna cut the wood out, so just gonna use my handy dandy jigsaw for that. There's our hole. That should fit in that hole.
say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Hey, Brad. What'd you do, Brad?
My job.
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed the wrong vent, but it's okay.
This is not okay.
Okay, we had a little technical difficulty.
What did he say?
On the account of Brad grabbed the wrong vent. So this is the 6-inch vent. This is the 6-inch hole that we cut. And that should fit perfectly. There you go. So you'll probably notice that these vents sit a little bit proud. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it back there. Cut it back there. It's usually about 3/4 of an inch. So I'll set that aside for now. I'll cut that after. So now, with our panel that we just cut, we need to find out where that vent is going to sit so that we can cut this rib so that the panel that goes over top can hook onto it. And we need to open this rib up so that we can squash the rib underneath so that the next panel can sit over top of that rib as well. So the way we do that is we just use 2 flat bars, put one down on the panel, like so, and you get the other one just underneath the lip. Just give it a little pull, that click just means it's come out. So now you just work your way down. You don't want to pull too hard because then you'll disform. You'll mess up the rib, and also you'll end up denting the other panel. So to avoid that, you just do a little pull here and there, and then you can come back here, get your flat bar right underneath, and there you go. Easy as that. So slide this vent in. Right where the front of the vent ends, I'll just put a little mark there. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Yeah. So right where that vent ends, put a little mark right there. So now when we take that out, we can cut to that yellow line. Okay, so that off to the side. Yeah, so now we're gonna pry the other rib off. Just like so. Now to the same line that we just marked. All we're going to do is smack that rib just enough so that it folds over, so that we can put the next rib on it. Pop that screw out from in there. Okay. That up. So now to cut this rib, I usually use these snips. So these are double cut snips. Shove it right down the middle of the rib there. So now we're going to go down at a bit of an angle. So our line stopped here, our yellow line is here. I'll go down there and just cut a bit of an angle off of this side here. Show you what that looks like. Where is it? Yeah, so that's the yellow line we made. That's where we stopped our cut. So we cut that angle there. That way when the next panel goes over top, it'll go to this line, but it'll have all this meat under there to pull it down tight. There. Long snips. So that side's done. Now we gotta cut this vent. So I usually just use my little scribe. So it's just a little scribe, it's got different sizes, different measurements on it. So we're gonna trim 3/4 off each side. So we just go like so. And like so. Freaking Brad stole my snips again. So now that we've cut this, the bottom part of the vent will separate. So this is what the bottom looks like. It's just a tunnel, a flap on it. That piece can just sit in there until we're ready to do something with it. Now this should fit in between the ribs, just like so. So, set that off to the side as well. Now what we got to do is we got to prep a panel for the top here that goes around that vent. So we're just going to get a measurement to do that. 18. Sick. I'll go get that panel ready and I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
Okay, I'm back with that panel. So, straight up panel, we're just gonna prep a hem on the end here. So it's 1 inch, 1 inch, just like so. So this is just like how we prep the bottom of our panels, except we're not going to put a gate on this one. So we're just going to cut this rib all the way off, like that. Okay, got my folding bar here, so it's just got a 1 inch side here, 3/8 side here.
How about that new Malco bar though?
Yeah, how about that? Brand spanking new. She's only prepped 1 panel.
Because that whisk trash can't hold up.
So,
Shout out to Malco.
there you go. So that's the hem that we usually put on our panels when we prep them. Except this one won't have a gate, and I'm just gonna squash that one closed. It's nice and flat. Okay, now comes the measuring part. So I will center my vents in the middle of my panel. So it leaves us with 2 1/8 inch on either side. So I'm just gonna mark 2 1/8 here, and then the back of the panel is 11.5 up. Or the back of the vent, sorry. So we're just gonna mark 11.5. There. Go up to that mark 2 1/8 across as well. That was a terrible line. There we go. Same thing on this side. Just set it nice and flat. 2 1/8. We'll mark 11.5 up, or 10.5 on this side. Over 2 1/8 as well. Just like that. Boom. Oops. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold an inch tab around the perimeter of this square that I've drawn. I think you can see that. So just inch in from that line. In this case, that one rib right there is close enough to an inch there. Same thing on this side, so I don't have to mark anything. I'm just going to cut up those and fold it in. So, use my handy dandy snips here. Okay, so now all I'm doing is folding those inch tabs in, and we're going to squash them flat, and this is called a safety. So we do this to just get rid of that raw edge, so that there's no raw edge of steel exposed and rubbing against another. Open up this tab here. So that's what that looks like after it's done. So now our vent will go in like that, go behind that hook, and sit in just like that. Obviously we're going to put a bead of caulk in there and seal this up better. But yeah, that's that for now. Okay, so back to this guy here. Around the hole. All this is just a this is a line. Okay. Hole, we're going to go up one side, across the back, and down front. This bead is a indicator for things on that. So that in. Just like that. Now. So, put that guy up, slide that one in. Get that to lock in nice and tight there. Boom. And that's that vent done. And that's how you do any kind of ventilation that needs to go through. Sick. You done yet?